Well, I can't access my 1.5 million fans. And so it's like, I know, really, really, really bummed. We're going to stream live on YouTube. Why not, right? We got a show here. My lighting is too bright. Hang on. Oh, there you go.
Hey, Forbes, do you want me to show my screen that has this?
No, because that's only we're actually a live radio show.
Okay.
So that is the gist of today. While we're on YouTube and we're zooming and we have a recording of this, it's not the main source of how people are going to download this.
Okay, super.
All right, so I think that's all going to be working. Although I want to, so we'll be live in between all this on YouTube, so don't say anything really embarrassing. Although I would like your mailing address, Danelle and Jean. Pop that into, just go to Forbes Riley at Gmail. Pop me a little quick note.
Okay.
Oh, I see a little spinjum hanging off my shoulder. Isn't that so cute?
So we have about 2 minutes till we're live.
All right, 2 minutes till we're live because we got a lot. Yeah, so guys, just so you know, we are live on Voice America. If you go to ForbesRileyPodcast.com, that will take you to the Voice America site, which is really, really well produced. Okay. Yes, it's not your typical podcast. This is like a real radio show.
Yay.
Well, because everybody and their mother thinks they can be a host of something now. And I'm sure they all can be. I didn't spend my entire life doing this. To go, really? Whatever.
That's awesome.
So Danelle, I love your background. That looks amazing.
Thank you. This is my entryway.
Yeah, it looks.
My office and my entryway because it's the best view.
That is so cool. I actually just moved my office. I loved having my old background. I may have to do that again because it's got all my stairs and stuff. But
beautiful.
yeah.
The lighting's best here. Lighting and lashes, ladies, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna have to make sure Jean next time she does this has the light shining in on her face.
Oh, you know what?
1 minute till we're live. 1 minute.
I'm upstairs in my son's room because we're having new garage doors put in. So it's noisy downstairs.
I hear you. Oh, and wait, I gotta make sure that sound goes here. Take all that down. All right. There you go. So yeah, I used to do all this Facebook Live and I have no more Facebook Live. In fact, it's so bad that now anything, even if I start a new account with a new email and phone number, Facebook disables the account.
No way. Oh my God.
I'm not really happy about this.
20 seconds.
But apparently you have a lot more time in your life if you're not on Facebook.
Yeah. Oh man.
Now, why did they shut down your ad accounts?
Don't know. Can't figure it out. They said they had a glitch and so it caught one. And so now anyone that I use with a similar word at all, it shuts them all down.
The Voice America Influencers Channel.
Welcome to the Forbes Factor, featuring celebrity TV host, million-dollar entrepreneur, and renowned health and fitness superstar, Forbes Riley, a familiar face from TV, as well as one of today's most sought-after female motivational speakers today. You'll connect with some of the top experts in health and fitness, business, and personal development, as well as some surprise celebrities, all sharing their insight, tips, and tricks to finding true happiness. Now, here's your host, Forbes Riley.
Hey everybody, and welcome. I can't believe that it is March already. I know what a strange time. If you're listening to this during the time of 2020, I think our world has gone nuts right now. We are seeing an actual movie play out in life. That whole movie about, quarantining cities, and my TV series, The Last Ship, where the entire world, they had the only cure on this ship. Yeah, we're kind of living that. For me personally, what a wonderfully stressful week. My daughter had surgery yesterday on her finger. This is her second sports surgery. She's 17. Apparently, she doesn't need to be doing sports. She had a diving accident where she shattered her nose and now she shattered her finger. But I will tell you, just to give a shout out to Bayfront Hospital in St. Pete to thank everybody for being so wonderful to her. And we spent the entire day there. It's also where Joshua spent his time after he had a motorcycle accident. Yay for me. Happy 2020. All right. So I'm just going to start again. Literally starting a reset. If you're going through this live, what an interesting time when events that you know and you've depended on, you've been going to for a decade, are now being canceled. Joshua was heading off to compete in the Arnold Classic. They canceled that. The Houseware Show, all my events have been canceled. And personally, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying sitting in this chair in my house. I'm enjoying the Zoom platform. I'm enjoying being able to spin gym. I don't have to go to the gym. So guys, we're sponsored by Spin Gym. If you don't own one, really, why? I did now at a point now where I've sold 2 million of them. We're on our way to sell 22 million. I'm going to get a little workout while I'm talking to you. My answer to you is, what are you doing to elevate your heart rate? Apparently, the world lies to us. Yeah, the biggest lie that I've recently found out was that the 10,000 steps they told us to take make this much difference. And I told you that, you guys. But without scientific evidence, now it's proven it does nothing except sell you a Fitbit. Think about that. So about taking your own responsibility and really living your best life. That's what the show is committed to. That's why we call it Forbes Factor, health, wealth, and happiness. I've got some great guests, but I do have a really fun gift. I have a $2,500 gift for somebody. I'm looking on YouTube. You guys on radio can't really see this, but I'm giving away 2 tickets to my next Forbes Factor live event. They're $2,495. Yeah, that's a $5,000 value. If you would like the tickets and the books and all the other fun free things that go along with this offer, it's a big deal. I've been doing this class for 15 years. We change people's lives. If you're stuck and you can't figure out where to go next, you want to come play with me. The best way to do that is go to Instagram, Forbes_Riley, and find me, DM me, and tell me why you deserve a scholarship. What is it that you're going to contribute to class? How can I help you? What are your biggest challenges? And how maybe can I help you, along with my team of people and amazing resources, help you become the very best you possible? All right, so my 2 guests, and we do this panel style, which if you want to see us live, we're on YouTube. My first is a woman that I met probably a decade ago. I had little kids at the time, and this woman comes to my talk show called Forbes Living in St. Pete, Florida, and she's just got this most amazing energy. And she says this thing that I've never heard to be true. She's like, my kids got so much scholarship money and so many offers for college, I had to turn them down. I didn't know where to, they had so many choices. And I'm thinking back to my SAT scores, which even though I was a straight A student, I sucked at the SATs. Oh, standardized testing, did not do well. And consequently, probably didn't get into the #1 college I wanted, certainly did not get a scholarship. She said, oh, I can fix that for your kids when they're old enough. Well, this year they are. They were probably old enough 2 years ago, but they're now 17. They go, Mom, we have to take the SATs. Can you help us? I said, I've got Miss Jean Burke, college prep genius, and she's going to tell us how your students, your kids, your friends' kids can ace this test, not stress out about it, and best yet, maybe get a scholarship, maybe get to the college of their dreams. And then I've got Danelle Delgado, who is this unbelievable influencer. She's a social media superstar. I cannot believe that we finally got her on the show. Danelle, where are you located right now?
Colorado.
Oh, all right. And Jean, where are you?
I'm in Texas.
All right. So I want to welcome you both to the show.
Thank you.
Let's start with Jean real quick. Danelle, do you have children?
I do. I have 3
How old?
twins that are 11 and a 13-year-old.
Bingo. All right. You're going to write me the biggest thank you note when you hear what Jean has to offer. So Jean, my girlfriend, take it away.
Well, I am so excited. Thank you for having me. Yes, the problem is most students bomb an SAT, just like you, a smart students bomb it. And it's not because they're not smart. It's because they are logic tests. And the questions are purposely misleading and the wrong answers can be very appealing. And so this is why you got these valedictorians or top 10% of school doing terrible on a standardized test, even though they might be 4.9 and an honor student. And so the reason they do that is because the 4.0 at one school is not the same at another. You have to have some way to fairly compare all students, whether they go to public school, private school, homeschool. So that's why they use a measuring stick, a yardstick like an SAT, because it levels the playing field. Problem is, most students don't do well because it's a different skill set. They're not testing like what you know in school and what school you go to, but it's all about your critical thinking. And 85% of colleges will admit and give money just simply based on your test score alone. If you have a high score, that's how you can get full rides to college, because all colleges are ranked because of their scoring on their national rankings. So when you have a high score, they're going to beg you to come to their school because you make them look good.
Mm-hmm. So, I had a chance to sit in, and now I've been waiting for a decade to sit in on this training. But I always remember one of the things that Jean said, and she taught us. And Jean, you may need to you guys, Jean, you may turn off your video because your audio is breaking up a little bit. We don't need the video as much as we need your audio.
Okay.
And so she said, Danelle, get this. So imagine you got a question with 4 multiple choice answers. It's a math question, right? So I would always do the entire question. She said, no, just add up the last 2 numbers. So like if the last number was 3 and 6, the answer has to end in a 9. Look at your face, right?
Mind blowing. Would have helped so much.
That is one of the smallest hacks. That's like, oh my God. Jean, you got to give us 1 or 2 more hacks, because I just sat in on a class and I am so angry at you for not existing 25, 30 years ago.
Well, and that's the thing. Most students are going to work out a math problem the long way and spend 2 or 3, 4 minutes on it and burn the clock up when you've only got a minute per question. I show you how to answer the questions in 30 seconds or less. So another hack would be not only look at the last 2 digits, but the College Board, one really cool pattern that they do is they actually take the right answer to create the wrong answers. So for example, if 2 of the answer choices have a comma and 2 other answer choices have a period and another answer choice has a semicolon, then the answer that has a comma, a period, and a semicolon is the correct answer, because they take the right answer and create wrong answers by using variations. So to a trained test taker, you use that to your advantage, and in 10 seconds, you can have that question answered. In the reading section, which is probably the #1 hated section, the 6 passages and 52 questions and 65 minutes to do it in, you can't just read passages. As a matter of fact, you can skip 75% of the passages. All you need to know is there are 5 types of questions. They're all answered differently, and they're purposely out of order. So what I do is I show you how to label the question, rearrange them, and by the time they get to the last questions, you already have the answers before you get to the questions.
You know what? Let me tell you something. If this logic had existed, and I sat through the entire class, and I'll tell you what I probably got wrong in my SATs is that I probably sat there and thought, well, this is stupid, or why would they do this? Jean says, look, that's how they design the test. So spending any time of those precious minutes thinking about how ridiculous this is or how hard or how complicated, you don't need to do that. And I just love that she seriously goes through all this. Hey, Jean, do me a favor. Will you read the comment from my producers? And Danelle, I'm going to jump in with you for a second.
Perfect.
Okay. Talk to me about your college experience. Would this have made a difference for you?
Oh my word. It probably would have changed so much time that I spent after college recovering from being a horrible test taker. I was a terrible test taker, and so many kids think they're stupid when they know the answers, but they don't get it right on a test because they get stressed or they get anxiety, when there's little hacks that I never knew. So I think about how much time I learned trying to be smart after college that would have helped if I just learned how to take a test.
In fact, that was the thing, Jean, that my daughter truly said. She's like, you know what, Mom, I take all my tests better now. And I think the thing that I never thought about, and this is just thing in life, and Danelle, we're going to talk about you being an entrepreneur, is that there's no rules in life. There's not a rule. When you're an entrepreneur, you kind of figure it out on your own, and you make up some of your own rules, and you break rules, and you learn how to do certain hacks. This particular hack would have just, like you said, alleviated all this stress and pressure, because the people designing that test have a different intention than you taking it. They're not so pure. And Jean, speak to that for a second about how they create these tests designed to confuse you on purpose.
They do, because, for example, your children might go to a really, really hard school with very rigorous courses, and they have a 4.0, for example. The guy on the street goes to a very easy school, has easy teachers, and has a 4.0. So on paper, your child looks the same as their child. And so a college will look at that and they'll say, well, there's no way I can compare these 2 students. The only thing that we all have in common is our critical thinking skills. And so they write this test in a way where there's one indisputable objective answer and there's several distractors. And so whether your child's taking the SAT or the ACT or the LSAT, my son got free law school, my daughter got free grad school on top of free college, is because all these tests are very similar. So once a student learns how to take a standardized test, like your daughter, they can apply those strategies to so many other tests. And so it's a game. And here's what I tell families: play the game. If you play the game, you win, and you get unbelievable scholarship money coming your way. We ended up throwing away 7 trash bags of college offers, full ride, free tuition, women board, grad school, all that. And you know what's so crazy? is in light of that SAT scandal a year or two ago, where you saw a lot of very big name people paying lots of money, $500,000 to get their kids into college. I could have saved them $490,850 in jail time. It's just about me.
All right, so if you're just joining us, what I want you to be aware of is the conversation is this is a great conversation. I've been waiting for this conversation for 10 years. I initially met Jean on my talk show. She has a company called College Prep Genius. If you want to know about that, simply just email me at forbesriley@gmail.com and I will connect you guys. Our team loves putting people together who are on our show with people who want their services. And it is a system whereby Jean will show your children and you how you can get scholarship money, how you can get into better schools, and how you can take that ridiculous test that everybody stresses out about. And I'm going to tell you something. Because I've got twins, I now had a chance to sit in on other SAT trainings. They teach you to really do the math. Yep. Jean teaches you how to take the test. Now, next she's going to come out with how to hack life, because Jean, you have an insight and the way you figured it out is genius. Yes?
Yeah. And you know what? You're right. Most companies, and I don't speak bad about anybody, and some of them are in the thousands of dollars, they teach your kids more content, they get more concepts and more vocabulary and thousands of words to learn. But you cannot study for the SAT or ACT because it's not content-based, it's logic-based. And you study the test itself, and that's how you beat the test and get free college.
I just love this. Ms. Danelle, let's talk about being an influencer in the digital space. Where did you come from? How did you get started in all this?
Well, I got divorced. So, right? I mean, it's when you're forced to make a change. I was a teacher before, and I came home to have our 3 little kids. And then I got divorced and had to make money. So I really jumped into sales, got good at sales, and realized that there was a wave happening, that the whole world was online. The advantage was mine. I might as well use it. So from a shy teacher to having to force myself to be online, learn how to take a selfie, which I thought was ridiculous, by the way. I was like, why will they buy stuff from me if they can see my face? This is ridiculous. I feel stupid, right? And to just go, listen, exactly what you said, Forbes, you have to stop playing by the rules that everybody tells you and say, listen, here's the facts. The facts are everything works. You just have to work, right?
That's
you just have to learn. You just have to read. You just have to try it and see what works for your audience. That's what happened for me.
So what niche did you go into? What is it that you talk about? What kind of courses do you do?
Sales and marketing. So I train people how to monetize what they're doing. Most people work really hard and monetize a little bit. I had to monetize really quickly. So I show them my hacks like test taking. I show them my hacks for making money online.
We got 4 minutes to my first break. Can you drop a big bomb and give us a little bit of a hack?
Yes. Number one, first and foremost, pretending to be anything other than all that you are is going to hurt you. Then you have to fake it the rest of your life. Right?
Wow, okay. So wait, drill that down a little bit. Say that again.
Yeah. So I think so many people show up online by doing what other people do, right? They're pretending. That's just, one of my friends, Sherry Wink, she's the best. And she says, action speaks louder than boobs, right? So you've got a lot of boobs online. And I was like, well, that's not my best feature. My best feature is my brain. And so I used my brain to put it all out there as much as possible. And people started loving my tricks and hacks and how I thought about stuff. And it made me more money than any way that any talent manager told me to show myself online.
Now, so many people, when they start in the online world, think they have to do it all. They think you have to figure out how to do web pages and do funnel systems and databases. Do you recommend doing that? Do you farm it out? What do you do?
In the beginning, I had no money, so I learned how to do it all myself, and it was terribly frustrating. It was better to have that information, because if I needed to move fast, I could move fast. But the fastest thing to do is learn what you are absolutely best at and pay everybody else for what they're absolutely best at, right? So earn your way with your skill and then pay your way with all of them.
What's one of the biggest mistakes that you made?
Lying online. Right? I think trying to pretend I was something else. And I think falsifying information, embellishing too much. because then you have to live up to that standard. I think when I got straight down to it about 6 years ago, I just started being totally honest online. This is how much I've done. This is how I did it. Let me help you do it. And all these people who were saying they're billionaires online started losing to me, who said, hey, I just made $1 million. Let me show you how to do it. I didn't have to embellish. I didn't have to pretend. I just showed steps. And then I said, okay, great. Let me make more millionaires. As I made more millionaires, I'd be like, I made 1, I made 2, I made 4.
Okay, hang on a second. So you actually made $1 million online, yes?
Yeah,
And was that the gross number? Or was that the net number?
that was the net.
Wow. All right. So we want to know more about this. That's pretty amazing, because that was the big lie that I found out, that people are saying they made all this money, but it cost them all that to make it.
Right, right. That's the majority. They don't know how to do it.
So what do you recommend when somebody starts out? They come up with an idea or something they want to sell, something they're good at, right?
Yep.
Then what's the next step for them?
Yep, they have a skill and they have to set 90-day goals is what I do. I have a little grid where they have to teach their brain how to win bigger than they've won before, right? So they set a financial metric goal, set it up. I show them a little plan of exactly how to go hit it. They go hit it in 90 days. They share their wins and they sell more to hit their next 90-day goal. Their goal is bigger. Most people try to go 0 to 1 million. And I'm like, that's not going to happen. Let's go 0 to 4, 0 to 5, 0 to 6, 0 to 7. And I just teach them how to scale it really specifically, really quickly.
Jean, what do you think about all this?
I love it. You're hired.
There you go. We're trading services. We're getting Jean more online, and Danelle's twins are going to be rocking the SATs.
Well, and that's, it's so true, because, talk about mistakes, where I've had problems is where people will see my program and they'll think, oh, I want a piece of the pie, and everybody wants to partner with you. And then I ended up doing all the work and they didn't do anything, and I put all the money out there. And so.
All right, so hang on. I've got 30 seconds for my first commercial. That is one of my biggest pet peeves. How do you enroll people? How do you get started when you don't have the kind of money? And who do you pay and trust when you do? That's all happening right here on the Forbes Factor, where we talk about health, wealth, and happiness. My 2 guests today are helping me kind of do all 3 of those things. So you're not going to want to go away. We got more when we come back right here on the Forbes Factor.
That is awesome. Jean, I love
All clear.
I know, right?
Yes.
All right, so Danelle, what do you where do people find you?
Facebook, where you can't go.
I can't go, which really sucks. Trust me.
Instagram and DanelleDelgado.com.
Okay, actually, I should probably pause. I'm actually being Instagrammed right now because I love doing that. I actually have a new program that I'm coming out with about how to be the ultimate guest. I find everybody seems to want to be their own podcast. I'm like, what the, really? Hard to do that, hard to monetize it, hard to keep up the guest list. Don't do that. Let me teach you these skills about being the ultimate guest on television and radio, how you answer questions, how you make it about what you want, but serve the audiences. I'm actually very excited about this new program.
I love it so much. I will share that everywhere. That's cool.
Well, because this is actually going to be my very first launch. We put together a really interesting program, very, like you said, very much me, which took a lot of sitting down and go, Forbes, what do you do better than anyone else? And what I do better than anyone else is pitch on television. I pitched $2.5 billion worth of product. So when I like it, but what I don't do well is, apparently between Facebook and other things, is the whole social media way of being nice to people, that nurture, lightly sell. You know what? Screw it. You want one of these? I can give you a great arm. Anyway, I've kind of learned that part of my appeal and charm is that I'm not subtle in some of the things that I do. But I also don't enjoy, Jean, do you like your online world, or could it be better?
Always better, always. And because I don't have like a huge budget, like many of these major test prep companies that, by the way, don't teach the right stuff to begin with. People want to know, what's the difference? Why are you any different than anybody else? And why do you charge such a small amount compared to someone who charges $5,000? And that's because I purposely designed my program to be affordable for everybody. And so I don't have this huge budget like a lot of these companies do to get my name
Miss Jean, I'm going to invite both of you guys as my guest if you'd like to. Go to www.Forbes Factor Live. My next class is in May. I love you very much, and I'm sure Danelle is just smiling back there, but you actually just told us a very limiting belief that you hold that isn't actually true. You can make it more, now that my kids have gone through it, you can make it any price you want. You can make it more expensive. You can always offer scholarships or rewards, but you're complaining that you don't have enough money to do what you need to do. And you gave me a great excuse, which I loved and hated all at the same time, about why
Coming
you don't
back
charge enough.
live in 10 seconds.
Danelle is smiling. Yes, this is good coaching, isn't it? Yeah, I love this part of the coaching. Hang on, because this is a good lesson for everybody. The get paid
Influencers Channel. Be inspired.
You are listening to the Forbes Factor. To call in with a question or comment, please call 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. Or send an email to Forbes@ForbesRiley.com. Now back to the show. Here's Forbes Riley.
All right, so we're up now to one of my least favorite subjects. Asking for what you are worth. Not what you think you're worth, not what your mother told you you might be worth, not what everyone else is asking for, but literally understanding this money thing. Because I got to tell you, some of it I understand and some of it I don't. I just had a gentleman ask me for a $100,000 retainer and I thought, up front? No, I've done that and that never works. But how do you go from whatever you ask for? You know, I've actually been coaching since I was in my early 20s. And I became a massage therapist when I was 35. Here's the biggest lesson I learned there. When I came out of massage school, I would charge $35 an hour. The going rate was 60, but I was a new student. So listen to this and listen to the justification. It's like, well, I'm new. I don't really know what I'm doing. However, I was really, really good at it out of the gate. I love this. And people would say, wow, you're the best I've ever had. But my mind said, oh, you can't charge full price because you're new. That's a limiting belief. Girlfriend of mine calls me and she said, Forbes, how much do you charge for massage? And I'm like, okay, I'll bump it up a little, $40. And she said, oh, that's too bad because I have a big celebrity client and they don't let anybody under $185 an hour work on them. What? She said, yeah, if you're not charging that much, you must not be that good. Please let that resonate in your ears. How do you get to be an expert? You go to expert school and they hit you with a magic fairy wand and go, bam, you're an expert. No, that doesn't happen. No, you wake up one day and go, you know what? I put the time in. I know what I'm doing. I've got good testimonials. I deserve it. And you wake up. So to that end, Miss Jean was just talking about having a limited budget to expand her online presence. So Jean, give us what you were saying.
Well, and you know, here's the thing, just like you just said, I've had students raise their SAT score 700 points and their ACT 9 points and go to Ivy Leagues for free. So I have 15 years of testimonials to back up everything that I say. I just wanted to make, because we had no money for college and no way to get any money. And then when we got free college, I wanted to make sure that it was a program that anybody could afford. Anybody could, you know, get that $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 scholarship. You know, their decision shouldn't be the finances. It should be the institution.
Okay, so I'm going to agree with that money does matter in college and getting into college. And so but the bottom line here is you wanted to make your course affordable for everyone. However, on the other side of that, you are hurting yourself because you just said you don't have a lot of extra budget to build out your platform. So it's available to more people. They don't know about it. So let's get real here. What's more important right now, having it affordable to everybody or getting the message out to many more people and maybe offering some scholarships to keep some of the price down? You might actually, and this is why everybody needs a coach, because when you're in your own little coffee cup, you cannot see a different solution. So Jean, if you were my coaching client, I'm happy to give this to you and everybody should listen. I would say, look, you're going to raise your rate to this, which is a really good going standard rate. Let's say you charge $1,000 right now. I'm going to say you're going to charge $3,500, right? Whoa, Forbes, that's a lot. I said, I got that. Then you put out in all this new marketing material that if you are a student of certain means and you cannot easily afford this, I have a scholarship program that you must apply for. You must do A, B, C, and D, or you have to spend some time doing charity work. I don't care what you decide, so that student understands the value. Because I'll tell you the other thing I've learned the hard way, both of you, stop giving your stuff away for free. People don't value free. I made a huge mistake. I can't believe I had to keep learning these lessons. This is a great lesson. I just offered that I was going to give a scholarship to one of my classes, right? Well, I was on a cruise with a lot of marketers and I said, hey guys, we all had to give a free gift. I gave my class for free. And I had probably 80 people signed up. You know how many showed up for my $2,500 free scholarship? 2. What? Now, one of my other partners, he did something better than I did. He said, you know what? You can all come for free, but you're going to sign up and you're going to give me a $195 flake fee. What's a flake fee? Well, if you come to my class, I'm going to give it back to you. So it's still free as I promised. But if you don't, you owe me $197. It's already charged the credit card. Well, when you do that, you know how many people show up? 98%, because they don't want to lose their $197.
Right.
Sometimes you get what you pay for. That was a massive, massive lesson for me. Jean, how does that resonate for you?
I love it. I love it. And you know what? I want people to know that my program is valuable because it works. But you're right. The people who appreciate it are the ones who pay. I think you're totally right. It's like we did that one time when we gave away free puppies. You know, people said, oh, they're free. And you said, well, no, you got to pay for shots and worming. Oh, they're like, oh, never mind. And so you didn't want your puppies to go to those people because they didn't really care. So then we said, okay, $10 for the puppy. And people who put that $10 out there actually took care of the puppies. So yes,
this will be interesting to see if you implement this, because I do think that you get to charge more as your base fee. And, you know, people can come and you say, look, your scholarship's available, apply within, and you get to hear their story. And maybe if it's truly somebody who cannot afford it, maybe you set up a program for them where they have to do X amount of hours of community service. So you know that they're worthy of having that, because it's not free. It costs something, and it's either time, talent, or treasure. That's how we like to say it.
Well, and no, you're absolutely right. I had a lady once who said, you know, you've got a live boot camp and my son really wants to take it, but we don't have any money. And I said, well, okay, have him write me a 1-page essay of what he is going to do with my program and what he's going to do as far as getting to college. And she's like, oh yeah, he will. Never heard from him again. And that's the kind of kid that wouldn't have done anything. He wouldn't have done anything with the program no matter what. So you're absolutely right. You put a value on it. And of course, I'm learning from the expert here, but absolutely, you put a value on it and then people appreciate it.
Danelle, talk to me about how do you feel about this conversation?
Yeah, it's 100% accurate. Every single time. Anything free is not valued, right? I was looking at Jean and I was like, or you grab also a couple of high-level clients who say would maybe give you a chunk of cash to personally help their twins get into college. And then you use that money for marketing and you keep your same low price, but you have another thing. For me, like when I want to go earn something extra, a house, a thing, I'll go, I'm going to throw out a little project, make this much, and I'm always producing cash. And so for you, if you want a bigger marketing thing, put it out there, grab 2 high-level clients, help them real quick, and then you have the money to do whatever you want and keep serving the world with your value. So there's always a way. I've given away live tickets for free. I give away 2, just like you, Forbes, at every single one. Never had anybody show up. Had one show up. They left early before the keynotes. Right. And I was like, man, or the people that I've helped online for free, they're always the ones who hate me and say my stuff doesn't work and share nasty things online. So it's always going to come back to bite you when you know how much it took for you to get somewhere, and you know the return on impact it's going to make when they help it. You'll never underestimate a value again.
All right, so I want some more wonderful nuggets from you. That's what I love on the show. So many times my guests will come on and they want to give the generic answer, begin with the end in mind or whatever. I don't want to hear quotes. I want to hear something that's nuggetable. They go, wow, we can actually take some action. So I know Jean is drooling at the mouth. I've got a whole bunch of people here online who are asking questions, but Danelle, you really kind of hit it out of the park. So you have some very clear actionable strategies that you use. Some of you probably don't even think about anymore. But I personally am struggling with the online world too. And I do know about, funnels, and I know about philosophy, and I know about databases. And so I have here's a specific question. So I have a whole new database of people. I did something, got a beautiful database. I don't know how to enroll them, how to engage them. What is the right way to talk to your database?
Yeah, number one way is you want to do what gets the most effort for the least amount of time, which is live video. Live video is what stops people in their tracks. They listen, they scroll. It's given special privilege in the Facebook feed, in the Instagram feed. You get more following, right? It's the only organic tool still left for free, right? Organic live video. And you're also, the more you are, Forbes, you are obviously a legend personality. your personality on there, the more you put it out there, the more it automatically sorts people for you, right? Some will love you, some will hate you. Great. The more I'm live, the more I help them sort themselves. Sort yourselves. Get in, get out. I don't want you if you don't like me either. So the more you're doing that, and I think consistently, I built my entire following with something called Friday Night Live. I have showed up every Friday night. I wasn't thinking about it in the beginning that I would give up every Friday night the rest of my life. But I have given up every Friday night for about 4 years. And people, if I am like 2 minutes late, it's like, is Danelle okay? Where did she go? Right? They show up for me to just do free coaching for 1 hour of my life. And I've built millions of dollars online because I just chose to be consistent and be all of me on the best platform that would help me the most for free.
What's one of your most successful offers?
My VIP day, right? Because now, okay, most successful is on stage, on big stages where, so for instance, I spoke at the first 10X and I was one of the only females. It was a smaller, right? I was the only female that was allowed to sell. And I was first thing in the morning, right? In the hangover spot where people don't always show up early in the morning. So that led to $1 million day for me. Everybody was on stage talking about the millions of dollars that they've done. And I was like, hey, last year I made $1 million online. Who wants to know how? Great, meet me in the back. It was the most simple, honest, authentic thing. And I literally was like, well, I hope somebody's back there to talk to when I was done. And, you know, I've studied and spoken on lots of stages and worked really hard to deliver an authentic thing where most people go, hey, watch this recording. I offered 8 weeks of live coaching with me on Zoom and on Facebook where they could ask me questions, and it blew up the internet. So I just take what most people are doing and I add my, I like to be there to see people win personality. Everybody told me not to do that. I am so glad I listened to myself.
Aha.
Yeah.
So Jean, tell me, what do you think about all this?
I think it's amazing. You know, what I tell families is start early. There is no instant success. You cannot shortcut the shortcut. And, you know, some students, when it comes to test taking, whether you're getting college for free or law school or med school for free, you know, which could be $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, is you can't get time back. And, you know, there's so much wrong information out there that whether well-meaning friends or counselors or friends who've gone to college will tell your students, wait till the end of the junior year or senior year, when in reality, there are two types of test takers. You've got your kids who are logically minded naturally. They're pretty good test taker and it's kind of intuitive to them. And for those kids, just a few more little things can put them over the top. And then you got your other students who are more the rule followers, and they want to dot the I and cross the T and read all the passages and work out all the math a long way. And they need time to retrain their brain to think logically, because logic is not a personality trait. It is a skill, even though some people may be more logically minded naturally. And so if you start your kids early, they can gain that test maturity and they can lessen that anxiety. And it's something that they're not cramming for, because as you know, because you have twins in high school, the older they get, the more school, the more homework, part-time jobs, sports, friends, church, clubs, they're so busy. And it's more difficult for them to squeeze in test prep later on. So if you start early, it becomes second nature to you. I mean, I have 7th graders who score higher than seniors on their SATs.
Wow, I love hearing that. So Jean, what's one of your biggest obstacles taking your world online?
Gosh, taking it online, I'm not techie. It's just as Danelle was saying, you know, you work on your strengths and you hire your weaknesses. And so it's a matter of trust, I think. It's great to hear what she's saying, because, you know, I've hired various people who just didn't do their job, and I wasted a lot of money. And there's so many people out there who claim to be an expert, but they're really not. And so the time that I had put in with them, or them trying to do social media or get the word out there, just hasn't panned out. So I think it's finding the right person. That's really key.
I love that. Danelle, what would you tell Jean? Because you can get a sense that she's not that techie online. Where would you have her start?
Yeah, I would ask, I would actually just ask, what's your biggest challenge? And it would probably be getting to enough eyeballs. And I'd say, how would you like all eyes on me? All eyes on you, right? It's little Tupac, right? I'm not really a rapper, but all eyes on me. That song he has is accurate. And I said, well, how much more would you make if you had all eyes on you? Would you be willing to learn a couple of strategies? I'm going to point out 3 people who do it really well. I just want you to watch them and repeat what they do and see if you like it, see what sticks. So I'm telling you one thing a day. Everyone out there says they're a social media expert. You go look at their page, they have no views. They have no following, yet they say they can do it. So number 1, check their stats. Number 2, figure out if you really want to go wide, right? If you really want a mass audience, then you have to find who's doing it, who's teaching it. Google them, you watch all the stats, right? You watch everybody who's talking about them. And if they've done it well, you go earn something to hire them. That's what I suggest. You want to do it well. And I think a lot of people have a back end where they'll help you for a certain way. It should not be astronomical, by the way. The price should not be astronomical to help you do what is free to learn on YouTube.
Wow, that is powerful, don't you think?
Absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
we're going to jump off to a quick little sponsorship break to say thank you to the people who keep us on the air. As usual, make sure that you can find us, whether it's on Voice America, on all the podcast platforms from iTunes to Stitchers, you name it, we are there. Forbes Factor, if you get a chance to review it, tell people how much you love it, and of course, share. There's somebody out there right now who would love to know how to be more present online, maybe has kids getting ready to college. We've got so many exciting different topics that we cover, and right now I'm loving it, but I got to go to a break. Don't go away. You know,
All clear.
So who's been one of your biggest mentors in all of this?
You know, online, it was really me, but offline, it was, I mean, I think Grant, watching what he does, we do things very differently, but his passion to like, okay, if this is what you want, you go after it this way, you attack it with research and hustle and whatever. I went out and studied everybody. I studied everybody who was doing it behind the scenes on foot, everybody who was doing it online. And then I got after it. I literally, my first video that somebody put out there was an interview I did where I was so nervous I forgot what I did for a living. Like I was so nervous. I was like, and I was like, please don't put that online because if that's out there, it destroys my credibility. And she put it online and she said, if you
wait, we're all Josh, come in. I know you guys. Josh is still in a wheelchair. He's looking like he's moving.
Oh, Josh,
He'll come back.
Bless his heart. That was.
Have you not continued with 10X after that?
Yeah. So I spoke at the third one, and then I spoke at the 10X ladies this year. So I absolutely love what they do for people, and I'll always help. But
you do know I spoke at 10X too, right?
I do. It was the only one I didn't, and I missed you.
I'm bummed, and I'm sorry I missed they were doing very well.
It was.
It looked like you guys had a blast.
It was so great. I just love, like it's everybody out there telling you what to do, and I think consistency and excellence matter. Like everybody knows what their level of capability is. Consistency, I think, is what made me win. But she told me, that gal who posted that horrible video of me where I was an idiot, she goes, your story can help people. Your skills can help people. If you want that
20
video,
seconds.
bury it. Do more.
20 seconds.
Bury it. So I did.
Now, do you have something to give to my audience?
Sure, yes.
Yeah, good answer.
Change starts here. Change starts now. Join us, the Voice America Influencers Channel.
Yeah.
You are listening to the Forbes Factor. To call in with a question or comment, please call 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. Or send an email to Forbes@ForbesRiley.com. Now back to the show. Here's Forbes Riley.
Hey everybody, it's Forbes Riley, and we are an amazing group of women today, strong, powerful, dedicated, and successful. What we're talking about, though, is how to help you. Number one, if you've got a child who's in high school or getting into high school, I have got the solution for getting into college. And you want to know more about Jean Burke? I've waited 10 years to finally take her class because my kids were babies when we met, and they are now 17. And fingers crossed, because for certain celebrity moms like Felicity Huffman, didn't go down very well. Now, I think this is a much better way to do that. I just unfortunately saw a picture of her in People magazine. That looks just so crazy. The world is actually so crazy right now. So we were talking about that. You want to know more about how to get your kid in college, reach out to me. And then Danelle Delgado is a phenomenal speaker, an online whiz, and also a mom. So let's leave business for a second. Let's do some mom kind of hanging out and talking. What's the one piece of advice you would give to a woman who is struggling in a man's world?
Well, I mean, first option is, I think the struggle is your opportunity. I love that it's a man's world because I show up and more people look at me. There's not a lot of brave, bold women out there. And if you just do it once, you'll actually get more opportunity than all men ever have.
Oh, I like that. Jean?
I think as a mom, having the opportunity to raise kids that you want to hang out with someday when they're adults. And so you get to be that great influence in their life to where, you teach them that maturity and that responsibility. And then when they're older, like my kids are, my son's a lawyer, my daughter's an FBI agent, and they're like the coolest people in the world. I mean, we're all adults now and we get to just be friends. And so I think that relationship that you can build with them as their mom, my son who's, 34 is actually, lives in LA, and I am able to, talk to him sometimes a couple times a day, and that's a relationship that you get that you can never, never take back.
Well, actually, you know what? I will tell you something, Danelle, hang on to your bootstraps because that happens. So my twins are 17 and I'm hanging out with my daughter, and you really do know, and you get assessed on all these 17 years of work that you didn't realize that they were watching. And she's now going, yeah, Mom, you're really cool compared to all the other moms. I wouldn't choose anybody else but you. I love how we live our life. And I'm like, because it's too late to change it. So I will tell you that if you're, how you do something is how you do everything. And I love the fact you said that you want to hang out with them when they're adults. I love hanging out with my kids. I just find them fun and fascinating and smart and kind. But I'm going to tell you, I spent a lot of time making that work. And Danelle, I think the best advice I can give you, and I have twins, is that be mindful of the end result. I think too many times, especially for young parents, you're in it. You just don't know all the things that you're doing. I had a little chance. I was older. I was 42 when I had my babies. And I had enough wherewithal to step back and go, how do you want them to behave? And I actually put systems in place on how to share. I have systems in place playing the I want game. Because I know even checking out at the grocery store, I would hate when I saw little kids go, I want candy, I want this, and they would whine. And I said in the back of my head, pre-children, mine will not whine. And so one day they're about 3 years old, we're checking out, and I turned to my kids because they know we eat healthy. And I said, McKenna, could you go grab me an apple down there? And she looked, she's like, Mom, there's no apples, it's all candy, it's all sugar. And I'm like, really? I said, why do you think that's there? Instead of saying no, which is so important. And she looked at me and said, Mom, I think bad men put that there to trick us. And I'm going to tell you, every single time, because repetition is key. I used to train dogs. Repetition. Every time we check out going, McKenna, bad men. She's like, Mom, there's not an apple anywhere. Totally bad men. That's a much better conversation than a kid whining going, I want a Hershey bar.
So good. So good. It is. Everything we do is repetition, right? And what we do for ourselves, they watch and learn. I'm so grateful I have you two who have been through it.
Okay. So, and by the way, Jean, since you're older, maybe you have a thought on this, but I will tell you, there's a couple of things that, as perfect as I am, that, there's a little dirty laundry in my backyard somewhere. And my kids called me on that. And I will tell you, that was probably the most embarrassing thing. We're like, Mom, you say one thing and you do something else. I'm like, shh, shh, shh. Jean, how does that show up for you?
You have to be the same in public and out of public. You've got to be the same person because your kids, they'll give it to you straight. You know what I mean? They will come right out at it. And you're right. You have to be real with them. We told our kids and we committed that we would never lie to them. We would always shoot it to them straight because we wanted them to come to us someday. And so we were very careful of, little questions deserve little answers, and big questions deserve big answers, and frank questions deserve frank answers. And so if they ask us, we didn't make up some weird story, or get into something that, the stork brought you kind of thing. Well, that's going to come back on you. Just give them what they asked for, and they'll appreciate it. They'll say, I can go to my mom anytime because she's going to tell me the truth.
Danelle, do you have boy, girl? What are the twins? Same sex, different sex?
Boy, girl twins.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, they are close. They are amazing. They're so different. All of them are, but yeah, they're little killers.
All right, so true story. My twins were so close. All the things I did, I was such a proud mom. Get to 17, and my daughter just asks one thing of her 6'4" cute brother: please don't date my girlfriends at all. What does he do? He dates her best friend. I'm now living in Melrose Place. The kids who loved each other, like, she doesn't want to talk to her best friend ever again, and he's in love, and I'm like, oh my God, what happened to my perfect family?
Oh no, I can imagine. It's coming. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Biggest, aside from passing your SATs with flying colors, biggest piece of parental advice you might give to both of us?
The days are long, but the years are short.
Oh,
and sometimes, I love my kids of who they are now as adults, and they have their own lives and their own careers. But there are sometimes, I just wish they were little and they were next to me, and I just want to hold them and all. And I think that time goes by, and you have to just know that and make every day count. And like I said, it's cool to hang out with them now because of who they are. And I don't have to bail them out of jail. You raise them right. What I heard a saying that says, if you raise your kids, you'll spoil your grandkids. If you spoil your kids, you'll raise your grandkids. Oh,
you got some good quotes going on, Mama. Woo. Yeah, just writing that one down. Yes. That is fascinating, actually. And I do, you know what's funny? I have a big birthday coming up, and I definitely miss my little guys. It's kind of weird that you only get them for a short period of time, and then they're just gone. No matter what you do, they grow up.
It's so short.
I know. All right, so we only have a couple more minutes left to my show. Actually, I'm going to bring on one of my team members. She wants to jump in and say hi, Miss Kirsten. She's just a rock star when it comes to business as well. She's also taken Forbes Factor. Danelle, how do you keep your sanity? What's one or two life hacks that you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I think going to bed with a plan, you wake up on a mission. And I think any night that I've ever gone to bed not knowing what was on my plan for the next day has led to a real disaster. Our moments have to matter. And so I think I plan myself wealthy. And that's one of the biggest things I do. The other thing is gratitude is above all. So every single day, 10 things I'm grateful for changes every single thing that happens to me, and everything's opportunity.
Go back to plan to being wealthy. I'm digging this. Give me an example of, we have a lot of morning routines, but I've not had anybody tell me their nighttime routine.
Yes. So I have a little system on how I set my goals. It's a 3x5 process. So I have like a priorities and strategy system that I know exactly what needs to happen the next day, and everything else is eliminated. It makes life really easy. Yes or no, in or out.
I think I need to come hang with you for a while. You've got some pretty logical stuff going on that you create. I'm very impressed. I did not know all these things.
Thank you. I had to. I had 3 kids under 3 all by myself and trying to build a business. I had to get good so I could get paid.
I love it. Jean, what's one of your strategies?
Definitely praying. This life is not about me. Trusting God in just his plan, his purpose, and just knowing that he's got it all under control in spite of me. And I'm thankful to know him, and to live in America, and to be able to have freedom to where I can worship, as opposed to being in a country where maybe it could be your life if you wanted to step out and do something that wasn't the norm. So I'm very thankful.
Kirsten, you're one of my more successful, amazing businesswomen and a Forbes Factor graduate. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on here.
All right, so we have 2 amazing guests. And actually, you've not met Jean Birkin, so I'm just going to wrap up. I'm going to kind of do a recap. That Jean, I've been waiting 10 years to get her on the show. She can get your child a scholarship to college. Now, we can't guarantee that, but she by basically teaching you the philosophy and how to ace the SATs. Is that interesting to you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's one question you might want to ask her?
Yeah, I mean, what about kids that have learning challenges like dyslexia or ADHD or anything like that when they're having to take the SAT? For me, it was hard. I had to take the PSAT, but yeah.
Well, so learning disabilities should not be in any way a factor of not doing well, because number one, you're not having to read the passages, which a lot of students with dyslexia or dysgraphia struggle with. You can skip most of the passages. You just have to know where the questions and the answers are found. And once you know that, the beautiful thing about a standardized test is it has standardized tests, has standardized questions and standardized answers. So it's always going to be the same. So that's why you study that part. And so I've had students with severe dyslexia, autism, problems that they were told that they would never write, much less go to college, and they got full rides to college. Another thing too is you can get accommodations where students can get double time or no time constraints at all. And the colleges don't know that. So couple extra time with learning shortcuts, that together is amazing. And nobody ever knows that they even had that.
I love that. We've got 3 minutes left. You want to know, Jean, if you've got a child who's going into college at all, any age, any ability, reach out to me at Forbes Riley @gmail. I will hook you guys up because she is the queen of this. And I'm so excited for my kids to know this. I've got about 2.5 minutes left. Danielle, give me a thought for the week, something you're gonna be thinking about, something my people can think about.
Thought for the week. I think you change your life by how you wake. Right? So I think everyone needs either a song or a mission. So I wake up knowing my value. And so I wake up and I go, feet on the floor, who's the lucky one to run into me today? And I start every day like that. And if you could imagine doing that for yourself rather than going, is it going to work? Today's hard. Mindset is every single thing. Just know everything works if you work it. It doesn't if you don't. So wake up on a mission, work it.
Who's the lucky one to meet me today? I can just drop the mic right there, girl. I have never heard that, and I am loving it. You put a spin gym in your hand, and you actually have the perfect morning, just so you know.
I need
you know what? I can't believe you don't after all of these years.
I'm ordering it today. I'm ordering it today.
I'm gonna make that happen. You are so on my list. Let me tell you something, and yours should be my one all in diamonds and bling.
I can't wait.
I know. Kirsten, do you love spin gym?
I love spin gym. Yeah, it's great. I was going to say, where is mine? It's probably in the car. My son and I do it on the way to school in the morning. He sits there in spin gyms and tells me about all his creative ideas. And, I'm super creative in business, helping take people from like where they are now to where they are can be anything, because I've been through so much. And so anyway, so the spin gym is like that. It can take you from where you are now to where you want to be.
And at the very least, it just certainly punch out some stress. I've had none of that. I've had 3 great guests. I've out of time, which is kind of a bummer. Kirsten, I love you for popping in. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jean. You know you have my heart. The kids are taking the next test in 2 weeks. I will let you know how it goes. They're very excited to take the SATs, not something you normally hear. And Danelle, you and we got a date, girl. I had no idea. We need to connect. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Forbes Factor. You know how much I love this show. Share it with somebody that you love. Tell them there's some crazy, amazing women out there who are blazing new paths and not taking no, because for me, no means never-ending opportunity. And that was a great one, spending it out with all of you. Mwah. Till next week. Bye.
See you. I'll come on earlier next time.
All clear. I'll see you next week, Forbes.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, I'm going to jump off. Danielle, I'm going to actually reach out to you. I got to jump off as well.